I reckon it's going to go wrong. I reckon it's going to go terribly wrong. But I could be wrong. So fingers crossed. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and it's time for my May TBR. Now before I get into what this game is, for anyone that's new here, I do have 3 to 4 books that I need to fit onto this May TBR. We're going to try and hope that the prompts are nice to me and see if we can fit them all in. If not, at the end of this video I'm going to go through what those books are that I need to try and fit in. But that's it. Let's go into what the rules of the game are. It's very, very simple. I have a stack of prompts, a 6 coloured sided dice, which I roll a minimum of 5 times. Each colour relates to a little figure that sits on top of these prompts. If, however, the same colour comes up twice, we have to do a re-roll. That I only do 2 times though, so I have between 5 and 7 books that I need to read for the month. Now April went particularly badly, so fingers crossed, as in what I managed to read, fingers crossed I choose some books that I'm a bit more prepared for. We're gonna see. I've been massively into mood reading lately. We're gonna give this a try. But anyway, now that we know what the TBR game is, we have to choose our 6th prompt, which I think we're gonna go here. Ooh, okay. A short story collection. This is one of the new prompts that I put in and I'm quite excited to have that come up. That is everything. So we need to start roll number 1. I hope you're doing well, and please don't forget during this game there will be a prompt that you need to help me choose what book is going to be read. So I will give you 2 options and you need to let me know which one you choose. We'll see when we get to that. Let's go to roll number 1 first. The first roll for May. Oh, pink. Oh no. The oldest book on my TBR. Okay, so the first prompt, I mean, kind of calls me out a little bit. It is the oldest book on my TBR, and the way I have always taken that prompt is I track all the books that I acquire and when I read them. So what I need to do is go through my reading journals and see what is the oldest book that I've had on my TBR that I still haven't read yet. And if I remember correctly, it is from 2021 and it's a classic collection that I bought. Yes, so this was from February 2021, so over 2 years ago. The only books that I haven't finished is from the classic collections that I bought at Costco. So let's go have a look at those and choose one of the books. Okay, so these are the collections. It's these books here. And I have tried ordering them in the order that I've read in. So I've read all of these ones, actually just those ones. I've read those 4 over here and the rest I haven't actually read. Although actually Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde I've read, but there are some short stories in that collection that I haven't read. Okay, do I be really, really cheeky and just go with the Metamorphoses, because that is a tiny little book. And the others are a bit bigger and I don't want to read them. That would be a good option, just because, I mean, look how tiny that is. The other option, I do want to read The Woman in White, but I think I want to save that for like October time. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I do want to read one of the short stories from here. The Edgar Allan Poe one I'm saving specifically for a video that I think I'm going to do again near October time, and the Lovecraft Compendium, it's another short story. You know what? Let's go with this. Let's go with that. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go with The Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka, and this is one of the books that I need to get off my TBR so I can finally say I don't have any books left from over 2 years ago that I purchased. Honestly, it's one of those things, but this is why I track it, because it works really well for this prompt and it does make it more interesting and make me read some of these books. This one, I don't know why I haven't read it. It is absolutely tiny. It's only 95 pages. It's 3 chapters long. That sounds like a super doable book. This, from what I remember, yes, The Metamorphosis tells the tale of Gregor Samsa, a young salesman who wakes up one day to find he has turned into a kind of giant bug. Bit of an odd one. We're going to give it a try. It's quick and easy. So yeah, no, I mean, out of the other options, I mean, I don't want to tackle a big book. And the other short story collections, if that short story collection prompt comes up, I've got a particular book I want to read for that. And I don't want 2 sets of short story collections on my TBR, so we're going to stick with this one. Let me know if you've read it actually and what you think, because I think a couple of people said that they have read this and it was really like weird. But you'll have to let me know, because I feel like it's a quick, easy book. Like, there is no reason why I can't get this done. It's a good prompt because of the sizing. it's just a bad prompt because of how long it's taken me to get through that collection, because been a while. Anyway, roll number 2, we need to choose another prompt. Okay, let's mix this up a little bit. Go for this one. Horror. I actually have a book that would work for horror that somebody gave me from work, so that would work. Anyway, roll number 2. Roll number 2. Wow, that went flying. Let's try that again. You can't see that, but that is purple. Contemporary. Okay, contemporary. This one kind of threw me for a minute because there is a contemporary book I do want to read. I'm kind of saving that for another video, which you're going to be seeing soon. So I wasn't sure what one I wanted to go for. So instead I've decided to go for a non-fiction book that I have on my spring TBR, and that is A Life on Our Planet, My Witness Statement and Vision for the Future by David Attenborough. And this is a contemporary because it's been written in a contemporary time. I'm going to be stretching out some of these prompts because I want to read certain books, so that's what this one is. I'm really excited to give this one a try. I think it's going to be really interesting to learn more about our planet and the way things work with the nature. I mean, to be honest, I picked this up because of David Attenborough. David Attenborough is someone that I've loved watching his programs that he does, that he narrates and used to go out and film. It was just absolutely fantastic. So I'm really intrigued to see what this book is going to be about. It's going to take me a little while to get through because it is non-fiction and it's not something I read a lot of. But this isn't a book I've seen many people talking about. Actually, I've seen no one talking about this book. So it'd be really interesting to see if you've read this one and what you think of it, and to actually give it this a try. I have been wanting to read more non-fiction. I read 2 last year. I'm trying to read 4 this year, so this will be my first non-fiction for the year. So it'd be really good to get this done. So that's that one, and a book off my spring TBR I have also made like 0 progress with. So fingers crossed we can make some progress. Okay, choosing the 3rd prompt. Let's see what we get. So far I haven't fit any of the books that I wanted to read for the month on here. Actually, technically this is one that I needed to get read, but it's not one of the 3 that I was thinking about. This could be a very big TBR. But let's go here. This is always a risky one. And that's lowest rated on my TBR. You know what? Let's hope that doesn't come up. Fingers crossed. Time for roll number 3. Oh, yellow. A romance. Okay, so the next book prompt is romance, and this is one that you're going to help me with. So I have decided to go for fantasy / sci-fi with romance in it within the story. So the first option is Ocean's Echo, and this is by Avrina Maxwell. This is a book that I picked up because I want to get more into sci-fi, and also it sounds like something I'm going to absolutely adore. This is on my spring TBR, and this one is about a socialite, a soldier, and an unwilling bond. We have Tennel, who is the rich socialite and a flirt and walking disaster. He is using his telepathic powers for illegal activities. The military decides to find someone with coercive powers strong enough to control him. Enter Lieutenant Surratt, who has to kind of agree to this, doesn't really want to do this, but it turns out that actually maybe there's a love story blossoming. I'm really excited to read this. This is the 2nd book. There is Winter's Orbit, which came first. However, this is one I believe you can read separately in different orders, so if I like this one I will be getting Winter's Orbit. So this is 1 of my spring TBR and 2 pushing me into sci-fi, which is a genre I want to read more of. The second option is a recent book that I got, and that is The Valkyrie by Katie Hartfield, and I got this in the Locked Library book box subscription. Absolutely stunning. Honestly, this book is gorgeous. And this one I am intrigued by. This is Norse mythology, a retelling of Norse mythology. And this does have love in it, because on the very bottom of the synopsis it says, a shield maiden may yet find that love is the greatest weapon of all. So definitely got a love story going on here. This one, I don't really know anything about it. I haven't really looked into it since I unboxed it. And this is Brynhild is a Valkyrie, shield maiden of the Allfather, chooser of the slain. But now she too has fallen, flightless in her exile. Gudrun is a princess of Burgundy, a daughter of the Rhine, a prize for an invading king, a king whose brother Attila has other plans and a dragon to call upon. And in the songs to be sung there is another hero, Sigurd, a warrior with a sword sharper than the new moon. As the legends tell, some are destined to be lovers, some fated as enemies, but here on Midgard, legends can be lies. I'm intrigued. These are your two options. Please let me know in the comments below which one you would rather I read. Either a sci-fi gay romance, which is Ocean's Echo, or a Norse mythology inspired romance, which is The Valkyrie. Let me know what one you think. I'm intrigued for both. I really am hyped for both of these. Let me know which one. I like the fact that I've gone for both with purple. That's some colour matching. I like this. But yeah, those are those two. Let me know. On to choosing a fourth prompt. Let's go. By the way, still none of the books that I needed to read are on this. Absolutely none. Let's go here. This is a manga or graphic novel. Nice, light, easy to read. Still not what I need to read though. So, okay, time for the fourth roll. Blue. Season pick. Okay, the fourth roll is season pick, which is a new prompt that I made for this year because this year I am doing seasonal TBRs of books that I want to read within that season. So obviously we're in spring, so I need to get books off my spring TBR. Now there are two that I really wanted to read this month. However, I think I'm going to go for the one that I am going to keep putting off for as long as possible, though I did say that I would read it in May, especially because it is on my 30 before 30 as well. So I basically have the first 2 weeks of May to read this book in. The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a book that I've been putting off for such a long time. So long. One, because I loved the films. I watched the films growing up and so I absolutely adore them, and I don't want this to be the case where I prefer the film to the book. Two, I have heard that the writing in this is really dense and I don't know. This was on my most intimidating books video, this was on my spring TBR video, this was on my 30 before 30 video. I need to read it just so I can stop talking about the fact that I need to read it. So this is me doing that. Wish me luck. I'm really hoping that I do like it. It's tiny, tiny font. It's only like 400 pages. So it's not that bad, but I need to get this read. So that's for spring pick. We need to do it. I need to do it. So yeah, okay, that's that one. Now we need to choose the fifth prompt. This is the danger zone. Fingers crossed we get a different colour to what's already been rolled. The chances of that are slim, so this could be one book or it could be 3 books. I guess we're going to find out. But first of all, let's choose that prompt. Okay. This one. Oh, nice. Anything. I mean, that really works with the books that I need to read this month. Let's go. Fingers crossed. I reckon it's going to go wrong. I reckon it's going to go terribly wrong. But I could be wrong. So fingers crossed. The fifth and potentially last roll. That's not the last roll, and that is not a prompt we wanted. Okay, so that was purple. Lowest rated on the TBR. Choosing another prompt. The first re-roll. Blue, that's also not what we wanted. Okay, and that's anything, which isn't so bad. Would have preferred not a reroll. Choosing another prompt, a translated book. And the very last roll for May. Purple again. And that's a classic. Well, that went about as well as I thought it would. So the first prompt we had for roll number 5 was lowest rated on my TBR. Now for this one, I go into Goodreads. I try and keep all of the books that I purchase in a separate physical TBR list, and then I will be ranking that from lowest rated and reading the book that comes up. So we will screen record, because I've learnt how to do that, and see what we get, because this could be bad. Okay, so we have Goodreads, my books, physical TBR, way more than what's actually on here, but that's fine. Okay, so date added is not what I want. Average rating. Is that the lowest? Yes. Do I have that book? I must have that book. Okay, well the first one on here is a classic, The Castle of Orentaro Let me see if I can find that one. I have the complete different cover, much nicer cover, which is why I did not recognise that book. But yes, The Castle of Orentaro. This is by Horace Walpole. This is a book I got recently, and it's a book I was hoping to save for October because it is notoriously the first supernatural English novel and one of the most influential works of Gothic fiction. So not what I want to be reading in May, but we're going to give it a try. This doesn't bother me that it's on the lowest rated because classic books normally are, and I generally really enjoy classics, especially Gothic classics. So I think I'm really going to enjoy this. I just didn't want to be reading it in May. I don't know anything about it. I don't really want to know much about it. It's actually not a long book, especially when you take out the fact that there is introduction in here as well. So I think the actual book is only 105 pages long. So that's actually really doable. I could probably get that done in one day, to be honest. That's actually not terrible. I really wanted to save this for October. I was actually planning to save it for my October 24-hour readathon because I do them bi-monthly and it works out one of them this year is happening in October. So I've planned out all the spooky reads and this was going to be one of them. So that's not happening anymore. Unless of course I don't read it this month. I don't know, I really want to make an effort to finish my May TBR. I want to read this one. I had other plans. But yes, that's that one. And to be honest, not as bad as it could have been. The next prompt was anything. And so for that, I'm putting on one of the books that I needed to get on my May TBR. And that's Electra by Jennifer Saint. I've already read this, but I am now part of a book club over on Instagram where every other month we read a group book and we get to discuss it, and they wanted to choose Electra and I am not opposed to doing a reread, and I really wanted to reread this one. This is probably my favourite book by Jennifer Saint so far, although I haven't read her newest one, Atalanta. I need to get it. I am looking forward to doing this reread because I really want to annotate it. I really enjoyed this book, so I'm going to enjoy that. So very pleased that that fitted on the TBR that I wanted to read for the month, and yeah, perfect. So that's amazing. And then the last one is a classic, so let's go have a look. Okay, these are my classic shelves. Now, a lot of these I actually have reading plans for, so let's see. I do have Lady Audley's Secret on my spring TBR, so that is one possibility. The rest of these, I don't think I've got plans for a few of those, so let's see what's up here. L'Adore would be a really interesting one to read, but I think I want to save that for summer. I think this is really wobbly, I'm sorry, I'm holding my camera. The Magic Toy Shop, that is one I need to read as well. There is another book by Angela Carter that I want to get read, so that could be a possibility. Slaughterhouse 5 I've really been thinking about lately. No idea why. That's also intriguing me. Okay, so I think it's going to be between those three. Angela Carter, because I do want to get another book by Angela Carter, but I feel like I shouldn't until I've read that one. Slaughterhouse 5 just because it's been on my mind. And this one because it is on my spring TBR, but that is the bigger book. So do I want to read that when there's still a couple books that I wanted to get on this TBR? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to have a think, and then I'll let you know what we choose. The classic book, I think I'm just going to mood read out of the three that I showed you. I'm not sure what one it's going to be. Although, if you would like to vote for a second book, then go ahead. Potentially that may end up just being the book that I choose, like if there's one book in particular that's got more votes. So might do that. So we have The Magic Toy Shop, and this one I've had on my TBR for ages. This is one night Melanie wanders in the garden wearing her mother's wedding dress. The next day she learns that her parents are dead. She is sent to live with relatives, one of which is her uncle, who loves only the toys that he creates. I don't know what to expect from this book, so we're gonna give it a try. I mainly picked it up because of that cover. It looked absolutely amazing. Then we have Lady Audley's Secret. This is on my spring TBR, and this one is a huge success in the 19th century. This book revels in an anti-heroine with her good looks and hidden past, who embodied perfectly the concerns of the Victorian age with morality and madness. I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing book. I really think I'm going to enjoy it. And then we have Slaughterhouse 5. For some reason I've just been thinking about picking this one up. This one is a prisoner of war, optometrist, time traveller. These are the life roles of Billy Pilgrim. Oh, okay, so he's been a prisoner of war and an optimist and a time traveller. Interesting. This is a miraculously moving, bitter and funny story of innocence faced with apocalypse. Okay, fair enough, that wasn't what I was expecting, but I have been feeling like reading it for some reason. It's been on my mind. So feel free to put in the comments below which one you think I should pick up, and I will take that into consideration. I think the book with the least votes will get taken out of my choices of the ones that I choose. Not that I think this is going to get the least votes, I just did that to show. But yeah, so I think I'll do the book with the least votes will be taken out of the run-in, and then I'll mood read out of the 2 that are left. So do let me know what 1, 2 you think I should prioritise out of these 3. And I do have one book which didn't fit on this TBR that I do want to read. It's on my spring TBR and it's a book that I've been so excited to read I just haven't got round to, and that is The Ladies of Grace Adieu and Other Stories by Susanna Clarke. I'm so excited to read this book, it's ridiculous. This is a short story collection by Susanna Clarke, and some of the stories link into her other books that she's written, such as Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I'm so excited to read this, and also a little bit sad because this is the last Susanna Clarke book that I own that I haven't read, but I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. So I knew that I wanted to read this one, especially in May, because this is a book that I'm so excited for, so it would be absolutely lovely to read this in my birthday month. So I think we're gonna definitely add this one to the TBR. That does mean I have quite a few books to read for the month, so let's go through this. So one that didn't fit on my game but I do want to read nonetheless is The Ladies of Grace Adieu by Susanna Clarke. The prompt for anything is being fulfilled by my reread and my book club read, which is Electra by Jennifer Saint. Oh, I didn't say what this one is about. This one is a Greek myth retelling about the end of the Trojan War and what happens with Cassandra, Clytemnestra and Electra, and how the 3 women are tied together. A very harrowing, heart-wrenching story, but so well done. For the lowest rated on my TBR, we have The Castle of Orantaro. This is by Horace Walpole, a classic, a gothic classic, which I am looking forward to reading, just not in May. For season pick, I have gone with The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R. Tolkien. This is the book I am most intimidated to read out of all of these books that I've got to read this month. I am so intimidated. I hope I like it, but I am a bit worried about it. Then we have A Life on Our Planet. This is by David Attenborough, and this is fulfilling the role of contemporary just because it's written in contemporary times. That's what I've done with that prompt. It's stretched out, but that's what we went for. My first non-fiction of the year, very excited. And then for the oldest book on my TBR, we have The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Now this pile is actually really doable. I actually think that's doable. That's not a lot of books. However, we then factor in the books that you need to choose for the month. So either Ocean's Echo or Valkyrie for the role of romance. And then also a classic book where we have 3 options. Again, you can help me narrow down these by letting me know which book you think I should prioritise, and that will help. So we have this stack plus 2 possibles out of this stack. I mean, to be fair, it's not the worst. This has fallen everywhere. Hang on. It's not the worst stack in the world, to be honest. I actually think it's quite doable. There is a lot of books to read, but they're nothing massive. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes. And you will have to let me know what book to choose for the romance prompt and what classics to prioritise out of the 3 that I have chosen. So that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're going to be reading throughout the month of May. Please don't forget to vote for one of the books. I think for this month the emoji will be a teacup, just because I really like this cover. Like, look at all the teacups. Or a teapot. It's up to you, but I really like this cover, so we're going to do a teacup or a teapot, which actually I might go get a cup of tea after all of this filming. So I think I'm going to go do that. So thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Those 3 things are so important to helping this channel grow, so thank you so much. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.